was, quote, seducing the maiden and that she was a willing participant. By April 1983, the game was withdrawn from...
What? What a fucking weirdo. So, I mean, he had to blur the game out, obviously, but the game is literally that one guy with a wiener.
Now, you guys might be wondering why I am so happy. Well, there's a lot of great stuff happening right now. Not only is Mr. Sonic the Hedgehog going to be in the background for this video because we're talking about video games, but also we hit 700,000 subscribers and Cherry Soda is coming out on February 24th. It's going to premiere live. Before I talk about the Cherry Soda release, thank you guys so much for 700,000 subscribers. Can't wait for someone to get mad at me for saying I say thank you too much. Dude, we're getting closer and closer to 1 million subscribers every upload, and I can't wait for the comments. Tub used to make better content before he hit 1 mil. He changed after 1 mil. So, the song, Cherry Soda. It is my first song, like actual song that's gonna be on streaming services, and it's gonna premiere here on the channel on February 24th at 6 p.m. PST. Also, make sure to pre-save it on Spotify. The link will be down in the description. I am fully aware that this song is not gonna be for everyone, and I'm okay with that. I mean, not everyone likes KSI's music, right? When YouTubers make music, there's always a certain stigma, though I really like KSI's music. I don't think so. Don't think this is some Logan Paul, little brother Jakey trying to diss me. Like, no. Like, I actually really like what I make. For a genre, I guess. Yeah, it's hyperpop. And I can't wait for you guys to see it, and I hope you guys add it to your playlist. And I've always made music, but I'm finally able to release it because I know you guys really fuck with me. And if you guys don't like it, that's totally okay. I'm not gonna fucking, what am I gonna do, get mad at you? Like, no, I'm not. Please be there for the premiere. Please. I've never done a premiere on my channel. I don't know how many live viewers we're gonna get, but please be there for the premieres. Notifications, you guys got me. Oh yeah, I also want to say I'm not a YouTuber that's switching over to music. I am a YouTuber that does music as well. I've always wanted to be both YouTuber and an artist. I am not just gonna peace YouTube, I'm gonna be a full-time artist. No, y'all are my babies. Anyway, today we're gonna be talking about the most controversial video games. For the most part, I try to look for video games that are not really that well known, so you guys have some fresh content. All my sources will be linked down in the description below.
I guarantee I'll know all of them. I'm confident I'll know all of them.
1992.
I was immediately wrong. The fuck is Night Trap?
Night Trap was a game released in 1992 designed for the Sega CD, an attachment for the Sega Genesis. The Sega CD added hardware functionality such as a faster CPU and graphic enhancements. Sega tried to match the capabilities of the competing PC Engine CD-ROM system, but failed to do so. One of the games playable on the Sega CD was Night Trap, an interactive movie video game developed by Digital Pictures. The game is shown mainly through the use of full-motion video. In this game, the player takes a role of a special agent tasked to watch over teenage girls having a sleepover, and those girls are visiting a house which they don't know is full of danger. The player watches live surveillance footage of the house and triggers traps to capture anyone seen endangering the girls.
Watch out!
Designing a game where you're supposed to watch a bunch of underage girls having a sleepover is already pretty weird, but designing a storyline where they're gonna get hurt, it's a little bit nah, it's not it. The player can
shit. Sorry to pause so quickly. This just poured salt in an old wound. Who remembers, I think it was 2 years ago, that game they tried to make about a was it a female streamer? It was a full motion interactive game, or yeah, full motion interactive game, whatever, a live movie. What was it called? Because I can't remember it now. Was it Gamer Girl? Was it actually just called Gamer Girl? It might have been. And they canceled it because it got clowned on so hard. Rest in peace. This game would have been fucking amazing.
Peggy 18.
Okay, cool. Water time, break time.
Oh, yeah, you play as the moderator. Fuck!
Junk has been taken out my stream.
Fuck! Would have been so good.
Oh, come on.
No. I'll skip around a little bit, but you get to the big reveal. I was so hyped for this game. But yeah, I got canceled because it got so much shit tossed at it. Damn. Thanks, Recent Floppy. I mean, they filmed most of the game. They should just release it, man. Why not? Like, why just hold on to that? Let us have it. Go independent. Like, shit. I mean, I'll finance it. I want to fucking play it. I want to see what it was. What was the studio behind that? Let me look. Like, what do they want? Like, $100 maybe? Wales Interactive. Jesus, do all of their games get pulled? What the fuck is all this? Oh, no, wait, these actually did get published. It's just they were not popular. Hey, if you're watching this, Wales Interactive, I will buy a Gamer Girl from you. In whatever state it's in. I still really want to play that pile of shit. I mean, you're not doing anything with it. Fucking, what, on like a flash drive or something? Like, yeah, I'll take it from you. I'll put that shit on Steam for free. Just for the love of the sport, goddammit. I want to see that game badly. No, I didn't do the new Destiny 2 raid. And if Gamer Girl comes out, I may never need another video game. This has everything you could ever want from gaming.
Switch their view between different cameras. Insert Five Nights at Freddy's reference here. To keep watch over the girls and eavesdrop on conversations to follow along the story and listen for clues. There are some pretty funny scenes in this game, I'm not gonna lie.
But it was going to be a surprise.
Ah!
Couldn't stand in my way, would you?
This game was awesome.
Thanks, Control.
Night Trap was one of 2 games criticized during the 1993 congressional hearings on violent video games. The other was Mortal Kombat. Public concern grew surrounding the video game after claims were made that it included an extreme amount of violence and promoted SA against women. When I say SA, it's that. I just don't want to get demonetized, so yeah. As a result, Night Trap was pulled from the shelves of major video game retailers, and the following month, Sega stopped production of the game altogether. The Senate hearings that revolved around Night Trap's apparent violence resulted in the creation of the Entertainment Software Rating Board. It's the ESRB, which is still used to this day. The game was given an M for mature audiences, which means 17 years or older in the States.
Who is she being hunted by? Foot ninjas from Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles?
RPG. 2005. 6 years after the events that happened at Columbine High School, Danny Ladon, a video game developer, decided it would be a good idea to release an RPG PC game based around Eric Harris and Dylan Klebold. In fact, he chose to release it on April 20th, 2005, which was the 6th year anniversary of the incident. He initially distributed the game anonymously, but after a friend of one of the victims discovered his identity, Ladon decided to come out as the creator. About 10,000 people had downloaded the game in the year since its creation. The game is no longer available on Ladon's website. Instead, it has popped up on a number of sites and download services. Ladon initially accepted donations to defray the cost of hosting the game, but stopped when he took the game off his site. He said he's making no money on the free distribution of the game. When players engage in battle, the screen changes to a first-person view of the enemy. Enemies are named stereotypes or occupations such as preppy girl, janitor, math teacher, and a jock type.
Yeah,
combat has 2 options: autoplay, where the game chooses the weapon to use, or manual play, in which the player decides to use a hand-to-hand weapon, explosive, gun, or defensive maneuver against foes. Once a battle starts, it is impossible to avoid or escape. The player must kill the enemy or die. Text narrates battle events and actions such as finding a bag or gaining a weapon. As the game proceeds, flashbacks occur showing events in Eric and Dylan's lives, which may have caused them to commit murder. Much of the plot is constructed around the events precisely as they are believed to have occurred. Lines of the gunmen's dialogue are often lifted verbatim from their writings or from their home videos of each other. In contrast to the 16-bit graphics, there are digitalized photographs from the shooting or full voice samples from news reports. Reaction to Super
this one was
Massacre
really
was
fucking
extremely
dark,
negative.
man.
The title was criticized as trivializing the actions of Eric and Dylan and the lives of the innocent. The hate was so much so that Ladon ended up removing the game altogether from his website. You know what sucks, guys? That this isn't the only shooting RPG that we're going to talk about.
What is he doing now? I actually never followed up on this. I've known about that for a long time. What was his name again? He's a tier 1 Astro in the Gifts of Rainbow. What was his first name? Something Ladon. Radon. Good Elden Ring reference. Did he not say his first name? Oh, Daniel Ladon. Is it like this? That didn't work. Maybe like this. No, that's definitely not gonna be it. Unless it's him with the obituary. Oh, thank you for the Jesus. Thank you for the 10 gift subs, Fishy, and the 5 gift subs, Karma. Thank you for that. And thanks for the Prime Sins. Thank you for the generosity, Fishy and Karma. Danny Ladon. We'll say that in is Daniel. How do you spell his name? Okay, how about this? We'll just look it up like this. Well, this is going to be a dangerous Google search, actually. I'm not doing that. Thank you for 5 gift subs, Cheese. Thank you. Someone spelled that out for me. Okay, let's see what he's up to. It doesn't even have anything about the super colon. Oh, here it is. It's up here. Okay, so he only made one game. And it was this one. Damn. Yeah, it's fucked up. I had assumed he maybe stayed in the video game industry, but I guess not. Thanks to the resub, Boop and Sun.
Yeah, I don't know what mindset you have to be in to make a video game out of that, but yeah, we have a lot more on the list. Custer's Revenge, 1982.
I know this one.
Custer's Revenge was an adult action game published by American Multiple Industries for the Atari 2600. First released in November 1982, the game gained notoriety owing to its goal of being a Native American woman. In the game, the player controls the character named Custer, depicted as a man wearing nothing but a cavalry hat.
Yeah, Atari games are pretty wild.
With a visible... You know, Custer has to overcome arrow attacks to reach the other side of the screen. His goal is to rape a Native American woman tied to a pole. Custer's Revenge quickly gained notoriety upon its release. It was sold in a sealed package labeled "Not for Sale" to minors and sold for $49.95.
$49 for that?
$4 today. It acknowledged that children might nonetheless see the game. The
game's
$49
for a
if the kids
single
catch
level?
you and should ask, tell them Custer and,
like,
the maiden are just
pixels?
dancing. Women's rights groups criticized the game, stating that it was a simulation of other groups such as Women Against Pornography, Native American spokespersons, and critics of the adult video game industry in general protested about the content of the game. Activists tried pressuring legislators to outlaw the game, which Oklahoma City, home to the large Native American population, did. The focused media attention generated publicity for the game and caused it to sell approximately 80,000 copies, twice as many as the company's other video games. American Multiple Industries responded with, quote, "Our object is not to arouse, our object is to entertain. When people play our game, we want them smiling, we want them laughing." The game's designer, Joel Miller, said Custer was, quote, seducing the maiden and that she was a willing participant. By April 1983, the game was withdrawn from...
What? What a fucking weirdo. So, I mean, he had to blur the game out, obviously, but the game is literally that one guy with a wiener and one girl, and you just, the two of them just, like, collide like two action figures, because it's the Atari. Like, it's not entertaining or anything. And he's certainly not seducing. There's no cutscenes or anything. It's just an actual rape simulator for the Atari. Is he still in the gaming industry? Did he go on to work for any other big projects? Maybe he, like, had a huge glow up and he helped work on, like, I don't know, what's a beloved title? Red Dead 2. Hey, Chase. He works at Blizzard now. Okay. So it comes full circle then.
Circulation. I may have blurred it. I'm sorry for that, but like I am not risking anything.
The resub unique,
especially with a topic like this. I know I'm just gonna be blurring pixels on the screen. Sorry, you guys might have to deal with some blur, but I hope you can still tell what's going on and being talked about. Hatred, 2015.
Yeah, this one was big.
What is important?
It just wanted to be as edgy as possible.
When I think of the most controversial video game, I think of Hatred. Hatred is a gruesome shooter game presented in an isometric perspective, in which the playable character and protagonist is a mass-murdering villain who, quote, hates this world and the human worms feasting on its carcass, and embarks on a genocide crusade against the entire human race. The player can carry 3 weapons and an assortment of grenades, as well as drive some vehicles. Health is regenerated by performing glory kills on people. This was a rare case of a video game being given the adults-only ESRB rating.
Yep,
Games
I
with
remember
the
this
AO
whole
rating
thing.
Are considered by the board to be suitable for players ages 18 and over. Most retailers refuse to stock AO rated games, and Twitch actually bans all AO games. They don't want to associate with that. The only mainstream platform to allow AO games is Steam, but even Steam hides the AO games by default. JFK Reloaded.
Oh, he didn't talk about that very much. Hatred had a really actually interesting history. They announced it and they tried to defend it like we should be able to tell whatever stories we want to tell in the video game medium without being ostracized. This is actually a commentary and this and that. When really it was obvious what they were doing is they were trying to capitalize off like edge. Like they just tried to make something super edgy and hopefully it would mask that the game itself wasn't that well made. So they banked on it just being like, this is gonna sell our game. And it didn't work. So they instantly got thrown to the curb. They had a really hard time releasing the game. And when they finally did, nobody gave a shit. Genuinely no one cared at all about the game. The controversy was forgotten. The controversy only lasted like in the public eye for like a week, maybe. And the game came out and it fucking flopped.
JFK Reloaded is a 2004 first-person shooter game developed and published by Traffic Games. It simulates the 1963 assassination of John F. Kennedy, the 35th President of the United States. The player, controlling Lee Harvey Oswald, is tasked with recreating the 3 shots fired at Kennedy and gains higher scores the more accurately they lined up with the report. Shots can be reviewed in slow motion and from multiple viewpoints. As Kennedy's motorcade passes on Delay Plaza, the player has to take 3 shots at the president with their sniper rifle. They gain points based on how closely these shots match the Warren Commission's report. The first has to miss the car, the second hit Kennedy in the neck and John Connolly, the governor of Texas, in the chest, and the third fatally hit Kennedy in the head. The perfect score is
holy
1,000.
shit, wait, this is really thorough.
The player from pursuing alternative scenarios, the score is deducted when the player goes off script from the event, such as hitting Jacqueline Kennedy, the First Lady. JFK Reloaded was denounced by several public figures like David Smith, a spokesman for Ted Kennedy, stating simply that it's despicable. Politician John Kasich discussed the
a weird concept for a game,
the
but
Battle
like,
for America's Soul, and a segment about graphic content in mainstream video games. I'm not gonna lie, the game actually has some really cool bullet physics. It reminds me of like Sniper Elite physics. I don't know if you guys have ever played that game, but it's very similar. I mean, obviously, I don't have to explain why this is controversial. For some of them, I do have to explain why they're controversial, but this one is like, you could just tell.
I feel like I'm pausing after like each one now, but I always have something interesting. You guys know that the Kennedy family lobotomized their daughter? We were talking about this on the podcast recently. I didn't know how fucked up that was, but I don't remember what year. The mom and dad Kennedy had their daughter undergo a lobotomy. Her name was Rosemary. Because she had like mood swings and shit like that. So they had her lobotomized, and it was horrifying, the report. Then I think the lobotomy even won a prize for the science behind it or whatever, but basically they were poking her brain through her eye socket, I believe, and when they were making cuts, they would have her recite the Lord's Prayer out loud. So she was awake during this, by the way. So as they were like making cuts, she would have to be reciting the Lord's Prayer as well as singing the national anthem. That's what it was. And when she started being incoherent, they would stop cutting. And the result of the lobotomy is her like mental capacity diminished to that of a 2-year-old child. She was incontinent and couldn't live on her own anymore. And so what they did is they basically got her like her own unit, like her own place to stay, and completely forbid anyone from knowing where she was and visiting her. Like, her mom and dad never visited her for like 40 years or something. The rest of the family didn't even know about it. And it didn't come to light until like the 80s, I think. The 70s or 80s, where the lobotomy was more well known. And then they tried to reintegrate her into the family. But I mean, by that point, she'd been living in that facility for like 60 years. And then she died, I think, in 2005. So yeah, I was reading about that the other day. It was fucked up, man. They lobotomized her over mood swings. A legitimate lobotomy. Source beyond Wikipedia? Oh, there's so much on it. Like, you can get the cliff notes from Wikipedia if you want, but there are, like, I think there was an entire, like, giant book written about it, and I think there was a movie, a documentary. I can't remember now. But man, it was a wild story. Yeah, they sent her right to a lobotomy.
Homecoming, 2008. I'm sure we've all played or at least heard of the Silent Hill series, and I'm still pissed PT was cancelled. Fun fact, I actually use the PT soundtrack sometimes for my videos in the background. Homecoming was the 6th installment in the Silent Hill series, and follows the journey of Alex Shepard, a soldier returning from war to his hometown where he finds his town in disarray, and his younger brother is missing. As he continues on his search to find his younger brother, he discovers more about
I didn't know
the
this was
Order,
controversial.
cults,
I streamed
as well
this
as the
game.
town's history and his own past. Okay, a Silent Hill game. Why is this on the list? The game is literally banned in Australia. Apparently, it's due to extreme violence, but more specifically, a certain scene in the game. This scene shows Alex having a drill forced into his right eye socket, causing a lot of blood to spew out. I couldn't find an HD version of the scene, since the scene is a QuickTime event. Everyone just posted what happens when you succeed. I only found this extremely pixelated version.
Damn, that's hardcore. Get banned in Australia,
Left Behind,
idiot.
Eternal Forces, 2006.
I don't know
Left
this
Behind,
one.
Eternal Forces is a Christian strategy game. In the single-player campaign, the player controls the Tribulation Force, a Christian group in a post-rapture New York City who are combating the influence of the global community peacekeepers, the world government led by the Antichrist Nicole Carpathia.
Oh, I didn't know
the
that,
player directs
Naruto.
the actions of the main characters and the Tribulation Forces unit in an effort to defeat the global community peacekeepers by converting neutral and global community allied civilians to their side and only using lethal
Move
force
over,
against
StarCraft.
the Antichrist
The
army
Lord's
forces
here
when
now.
necessary. But the player's main goal is to use conversion rather than violence, only resorting to combat when necessary, since killing causes the quote spirit level of the player's units to drop. This was a very controversial game, as it quite literally is telling you if you don't believe in Christianity or are an atheist, well, you're wrong. Other than that, the game's reviews are extremely negative. Like, it's just a bad game in general, which is going to be a common thing in these games.
That's not
Most of them.
super
Not all of them. Silent
controversial.
Hill's great. I just want to make that
That's like
clear.
every
Except the next
Christian
one.
game.
The next one, if you're a lonely teenager that's a guy, or at least you like girls, you're going to love the next one. Dead or Alive Extreme Series. 2003
Hey,
till
these are
now. The regular
classics.
Dead or Alive games are a part of the fighting series that began in 1996, developed by
controversial.
Team Ninja and Tecmo. The game always had very, jiggly physics. So much so that in 2003, the spin-off series Dead or Alive Extreme Beach
Well, I came out in
Volleyball was created.
2003?
Those games are exactly that. The girls from the
that's
game
ahead of
playing
their
volleyball
time.
in little clothing with a lot of jiggle physics. As the years went on, well, graphics only improved. We went from polygons to this. Now, as one
Yeah,
can
we
imagine,
did.
the games received much backlash for being
Evolution.
sexist and being a way to just, creep on girls, I guess. The backlash in the US was so loud that the game developers released an official statement on Twitter explaining that they will not release the game anywhere except Asia because they
Oh.
respect the different global audiences. And the game was still released in the US the very next year. The VR version of Dead or Alive Extreme 3 takes things to the next level. You can get
There's
as
a
up close and personal
VR
to the girls
version?
as you want. And let me tell you, it is graphic. Like, the girls
Bro,
just sit there.
he's
and you
selling
can, like I
me
said,
on it.
You just get as close as you want. Dude, I found a playlist of this user on YouTube, I guess, that would upload getting up close and personal to every girl in the game,
That sounds
and
about
every
right.
single video on that playlist is age restricted, and the comments are just calling him out for being like a weirdo. Again, this is why some clips are blurred. If you're a fan of the Dead or Alive
think it
series,
gives
let me
some
know
poison.
if this spin-off Dead or Alive Extreme, do you think is misogynistic or sexist, or at the very least creepy? Let me know your thoughts. I really want to know the Dead or Alive fan base's thoughts on that spin-off.
They don't make the fighting games anymore, do
This
they?
video is sponsored by Atlas VPN. Atlas VPN
It's only
is a tool
Dead or
that
Alive
encrypts your
Volleyball
data
now,
and
right?
hides your virtual location. When connected to a VPN server, your device is connected to a new IP and DNS address. All of that traffic is encrypted and routed towards that VPN server. When the traffic arrives at the server,
No,
the
not
VPN
anymore.
server
That's a shame.
decrypts information
Dead or
and
Alive
allows
3
traffic
is
to
actually
access
a
the
really
desired
good game.
destination.
Well, at
Atlas
least it
VPN
was.
is available on iPhone.
It was pretty
Android,
innovative. You
Mac,
could
and
bus
PC.
people through the
Currently,
stages, which
AlexVPN
was
is
really
running
cool
a
for its
3-year
time.
deal for just $199 a month with a 30-day money-back guarantee. The deal won't last for long, so make sure to check it out by clicking the link in the description below. Let me show you guys something really cool you could do with it, and that's saving money. So many websites have their pricing adjusted based on the region that your device is in. With the information provided by cookies and IP addresses, these services can guess where you're located.
Dead or
Once you
Alive
switch
6
your
was
location to like India, for example, the price in whatever you're looking at will see a huge drop. We've tried this out on many different websites, including airline companies, subscription services like Spotify, YouTube Premium, and Netflix. Again, guys, AlexVPN is running a 3-year deal for just $199 a month with a 30-day money-back guarantee.
More
So if you
Elden
are
Ring runs
interested,
tonight.
make sure
No,
to
the
click the
speed
link
run's
in the
dead now.
description below.
The new patch gutted it, so we have to
Ethnic
wait.
Cleansing 2002. Now this one is self-explanatory when it comes to why it's controversial. Ethnic Cleansing is a first-person shooter video game for Windows computers created by the American White Supremacist and Hate Organization National Alliance. It's a unique name.
What?
As part of a quote race war, the player controls a neo-Nazi skinhead or a Klansman and is tasked with killing stereotypical African, Mexican, and Jewish enemies. I don't even know if you can find download links for this, but I don't even know how I'm going to include this in the video actually. If you guys are watching this, then I guess I made it in. I don't even want to talk about this one anymore.
I haven't heard of that one actually.
Hot Coffee mod 2004. Grand Theft Auto San Andreas, the most iconic game in the GTA franchise, was not only controversial due to the fact that you play as a criminal that can cause a rampage at any given moment, but also due to something that never made its way into the final release of the game. Hot Coffee is an unofficial name for a minigame. The minigame is not playable through normal means. The game must be modded in order to access it. When enabled, Hot Coffee allows the protagonist, CJ, to have animated sex with an in-game girlfriend where you can control his movements. According to the GTA Wiki, before development concluded, Rockstar Operations Director Jennifer Colby warned Dan Houser that explicit sexual content would likely bring restrictive assessments from rating boards, harming retail sales.
I made a whole
the minigame
video
could not
on
be
this.
fully removed, so the content was hidden from players using cutscenes. Data miners discovered evidence of explicit sexual content after San Andreas was released for the PlayStation 2 in October 2004, and confirmed its existence when the Windows version was released on June 7th, 2005. Modder Patrick Wildenborg released a patch to unlock the minigame 2 days later. This led to San Andreas becoming embroiled in controversy. Within a month of the patch's release, the ESRB and Australian
I remember the company-wide
OFLC
meeting after this
re-evaluated San Andreas'
Nice.
content rating. The ESRB re-rated the game to adults only, leading several retailers to pull it from the shelves. It's really rare, but there are some San Andreas boxes that do have the adult-only ESRB rating, and those can be found on eBay, while the OFLC issued a refused classification banning it from sale in Australia. Rockstar recalled all retail copies of San Andreas and released a new version that blocked access to Hot Coffee by the end of 2005, and issued an official patch for existing owners to prevent access. The Hot Coffee code remains in all versions of San Andreas, but takes more effort to restore due to missing models and animations. In August 2005, Rockstar North released an official Cold Coffee patch for the PC version of the game and re-released San Andreas with the Hot Coffee scenes removed, allowing the game to return to its rated M for mature rating.
Nice. Welcome back.
Border Patrol 2002. Back in the Flash player days, many games were being created.
I don't know this one
daily,
either.
And most of them were extremely fun. I can't mention Flash games without giving a shout out to Newgrounds and Con.
Yeah.
Any unblocked game website that I would go on when I was bored using a Chromebook in class. But with so many games being made, it makes sense that some would cross the line.
What the fuck
or I should
school
say,
was that? You
cross
get a
the board.
Chromebook in class?
Te prometo que
What?
soy mexicano. Lo prometo. Border Patrol is a Flash-based game that lets players shoot at Mexican immigrants as they try to cross the border into the United States. The game's opening screen states, "There's one simple rule, keep them out at any cost." In Border Patrol, players are told to target one of 3 immigrant groups, portrayed in a negative stereotypical way as the figures rush past a sign that reads, "Welcome to the United States." The immigrants are very, I guess, stereotypical. Honestly, it's just a very racist game against Mexicans.
Yeah, that one's very
Bonetown,
racist.
2008. Bonetown is an
It's just an
adult
old
action
Flash
adventure
game.
video game developed and published by American
This
studio
is a pile of
DGub
shit.
Software. Released for Microsoft Windows
I know
on
this one.
November 12th, 2008, the game follows the player as he completes missions and has sex with various women. A man in a suit approaches and explains that he is
51
part of an
turtle nuts.
organization called The Man. He warns the player that public indecency is illegal, and if the player is caught, he will be arrested. The player goes through the game completing missions in the style of like the GTA games. Missions include participating in graphic films and beating up someone who believes they are Jesus. Women are scattered throughout the city and the player is able to have sex with any of them. Sex can either be for the player's enjoyment or to recover in-game health, depending on the position selected. The game requires the player to match the desires of the women in order to last as long as possible. VTech Rampage.
I didn't know it was that deep.
2007. I don't want to talk a lot about this one, so I'm gonna try to make this one quick. Only
Makes
3
me some
weeks after
Swan
the
and
Virginia
Explosive.
Tech incident, Ryan Lambourne from Australia created a spin-off RPG. And while doing research, man, fuck this guy. The source I read said he only did it just to be offensive and he thought it was funny. That's it. That's why he recreated this Virginia Tech incident and
Yep, sounds about
made it
right.
into I guess a funny video game for him. The first mission of the game requires you to kill, I'm not even gonna say her name, but it's like the actual first victim of the shooting. Not only that, but as I was reading, in 2013, this same idiot released another game based on Handy Suck. I'm not gonna say it, so I changed the first letters because I'm not trying to get demonetized.
Yep,
but
that
yeah, he made
sounds about
another
right.
Video game like that, and
Giant
honestly,
fucking
fuck him,
loser.
Let's move on. Play 2006.
Yep.
Play is a 3D
This is the most
Eroge
well-known
video game
one.
made by Illusion, released on April 21st, 2006 in Japan.
Makes me some
Eroge
zigzag.
means Japanese erotic video game. The game centers around a male character that you control, whose goal is to a mother and her 2 kids, specifically her 2 daughters. 3 years after its initial release, the game garnered international attention and controversy for its content, resulting in it being banned in several countries. In story mode, the player controls a sex offender with a history of previous arrests. The protagonist SA's 2 minors and an adult woman, and the minors' ages are 12 years old and 17
Holy
years
shit,
old.
I didn't know
After
that.
the player finishes all 3 women, they unlock free play mode. Following its release, the game was banned in
Holy
several
fuck.
countries excluding Japan. In fact, articles in defense have also been written, many noting that rape is considered a lesser crime than murder, yet there are thousands of legal video
I
games
mean, there's
in
a
which the
lot
goal is
of,
to kill
like,
enemies. Yeah,
rape
that was people's
hentai.
argument. They would be like, it's not as bad as killing people, so all the Call of Duty games are worse than this. Illusion's response to the controversy was basically, hey, it's okay in Japan, so if you guys don't like it, well, we're in Japan. As an immediate aftermath, several Eroge publishers doubled down and studios began to ban foreigners from their official websites. They really like what they do, man, and they will stand for it. This is probably the
Do
worst
they
one
still
on the list
make
and it was
games?
last. This list was not in any order. This just ended up being last.
Thanks for
If you guys enjoyed the video, make sure you leave a like.
I wonder if they're still around. Hold on, let me look that up. Well, that's pretty dangerous to look up on stream. Let me do that on my phone, actually. They are still around? Let me see what they make now. I know that... So there was Rapelay, and they also made Battle Raper, if I remember correctly. Like, I guess their whole thing is making rape-based video games. At least I think it was them that made Battle Raper. I don't really know. I guess it could have been someone else, too. Thanks to the Prime Attack. I can't find their Wikipedia page. Oh, here it is. Yep, it was them. Oh, they even made a... They have Battle Raper 2, Rapelay, and I guess that's their whole rape series. And they are still making games. Wow. Wow. Well, what do you know? There's no Wikipedia pages for any of them that are recent except for this one called Honey Select. So you modify virtual men and women and direct them to do porn and fetish scenes. But apparently this one's just supposed to be like porn. There's no like rape in it. I don't know. Weird company though.
And if you guys like the content,
Exit
it would
tier
be
one
awesome if you
Sadler
could subscribe. If you
and
don't
Prime
want to,
Zappy.
that is completely okay with me. And make sure to stream Cherry Soda when it is out. Please be there for the premiere. Again, it is February 24th at 6 p.m. PST. Convert that to whatever time zone you're in, so it can be easier for you. Literally just turn on post notifications. You'll get a notification on your phone right when it's like about to premiere. After Cherry Soda, literally back to more videos. And that's it for this video. I'll see you guys next time I upload.